The NBA playoffs are here, and I'm getting my bets in on FanDuel. Talk to me, Chuck GPT. What do you know?
All sorts of interesting stuff, even Charles Barkley's greatest fear.
Hey, nobody needs to know that.
New customers bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if you win. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
21 plus and present in select states. Must be first online real money wager. $5 deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Welcome to Speak.
For your national audience, Joy said there's different tomatoes in Italy than there is in America.
Have you been to Italy?
Yeah.
Okay, so like they cook with what's in season.
So the
It's like
tomatoes are
grown.
different.
We're not gonna compare American food to Italian food. Really, we're not starting the show with this kind of slander. It's better there. I'm joined by NBA Finals Paul Pierce and food tomato connoisseur
Tomato here.
Paul Pierce and Fox Sports NFL analyst TJ Hushmanzada. The NBA Finals begin tonight. But we have some breaking NFL news to get to first. So, Aaron Rodgers has reportedly informed the Steelers that he will fly to Pittsburgh tomorrow to officially sign with the team. I'm only emphasizing in case any of you are confused as to where Aaron Rodgers is going to be working this year. The contract parameters have also reportedly been in place for months now. But things will become official tomorrow. Rodgers is also expected to attend mandatory minicamp that begins on Tuesday. Anybody who is not habitually on the internet has no idea why I read that way. But TJ, welcome. Good to have you here. What are your expectations for Aaron Rodgers with the Steelers?
Honestly, the same as they would be if he wasn't there. Mike Tomlin is going to be battling himself in NFL history to have a non-losing season. But we assume the Ravens and the Bengals are going to be at the top. And so that's what I think it's going to be. Baltimore, Cincinnati, Baltimore, then the Steelers. I don't see Aaron Rodgers moving the needle. And I'm just going based off of what I saw last year in his last year in Green Bay. You look at the Jets, they had a really good receiver in Garrett Wilson. Steelers have a really good receiver in DK Metcalf. Mm-hmm. Good running back in Breece Hall. Good running back in Jaylen Warren. Offensive line, let's just say it's a push. The Jets may be slightly better. I would think, and many people would say, the defense very comparable when Salah was a head coach. So what's going to be the difference? If the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers have a good season together, that means Mike Tomlin, Arthur Smith are way better coaches than anything in New York. That's all that's going to tell me. That's just going to tell me that the Jets' offensive coaches last year were that bad that Arthur Smith and Mike Tomlin has basically turned Aaron Rodgers around. But my expectations, third in the division, I believe they don't make the playoffs. Too many really good young teams. The Texans are going to be much better. If Tua can stay healthy, the Dolphins are going to be better. The Patriots are going to be better. I don't believe it moves the needle, not for me.
The Jets will be better. What are your expectations, Paul?
Man, before I saw the schedule, I didn't really have high expectations, but when I look at what Russ did for them, I asked myself, is Rodgers today better than Russ? It's close. It's close. But I just look at it like this. Rodgers took this long to sign. He probably was contemplating retirement. If things don't start off well for Pittsburgh, it can go downhill fast. But if they get off to the good start based on what the schedule I'm looking at, you got the Jets. You could probably get that. Seattle, New England, Minnesota, you could go into the bye 3-1. Possibly, but man, this is a tough one. I think he's going to make them respectable. I think Rodgers has something to prove. You got to understand, he's a 4-time MVP, a Super Bowl champion. And when you're going out, you want to go out on your high horse. I think he's going to have a pretty good season. I expect them to continue the playoff run. At first I didn't, but now I look at the schedule and I see it. I expect them to continue their playoff run, and I expect Rodgers to eventually get Pittsburgh out of the first round.
Yeah, I disagree. Although he doesn't technically work there yet. I'm very appreciative to the internet for informing me of that. I was only, of course, going off of the month-long report that he was eventually going to sign. So now we finally got here. Although he still hasn't officially signed yet. Reportedly, allegedly, he will be a Steeler tomorrow, which is why I was a little bit confused as to why he wouldn't have taken the extra time to be in the building, meet with some of the coaches, meet his teammates, kind of get affiliated with the organization, maybe the training staff.
He's going to do that next week.
Okay, cool. Because time doesn't matter at all. None of these things really matter. Anything extra to give you an edge when you're trying to go and win playoff games in the AFC with an organization that you have never played for, with coaches in a system that you've never played in. I mean, who needs extra reps? I mean, who cares about that? So I really don't care that Aaron Rodgers is with the Steelers. I don't think it makes any difference at all. I think he's better than Mason Rudolph, I think, maybe.
Yeah, definitely.
Is he? Because he's basically the same statistically as Russ was last year. He was with a team that had a ton of young talent, which we are very excited about this year, with essentially the same talents that they had last year, except for a great new tight ends. And he went 5-12 last year, 5 games. He hasn't won a playoff game since 2020. He missed the playoffs his last year in Green Bay, and he's coming off of an Achilles injury, of which he had surgery in September of 2023. He'll be 42 years old in the middle of this season. I think this will be the first year that Mike Tomlin doesn't have a winning season. I don't think they'll make the playoffs. I don't think that they'll be competing for the division, because I think that will go to the Cincinnati Bengals and Lamar Jackson's Ravens. And I really don't understand why the bar is in hell for the Steelers. I don't understand why this is the plan. I don't know why this was the only option. You had Russell Wilson in the building. You had Justin Fields in the building. And now we have a 1-year option, 41-year-old who will be 42 midseason to do what?
But to me, when you say all of that, they had Russell Wilson. They didn't want him. They had Justin Fields. They didn't want him. This may be Mike Tomlin saying, watch me go to work. This may be Mike Tomlin saying, I'm going to prove to y'all how great of a coach I am.
But we already know that. He's had winning seasons with Duck Hodges. Not to
what I'm saying is,
but we don't need him to prove anything.
If Aaron Rodgers plays well with the Pittsburgh Steelers, nobody thinks he's going to play well. Nobody.
I think the Steelers think he's going to play well.
No, the Steelers think he's going to play well, better than the options they had.
Yeah.
They think he's better than the options.
They think he's better than Justin Fields. They think he's better than
Russell Wilson. They think he's better than Mason Rudolph. To me, this is Mike Tomlin being able to prove that I'm not just a defensive coach. I'm a football coach. I can work on the offensive side of the ball also. Because I think that's going to be very critical is how he relates to Aaron Rodgers. Their relationship. Rodgers is who he is. He's had so many things done his way. I want to put this in the game plan. I want this to be in the playbook. I want to do this way. How does that mesh with Mike Tomlin and Arthur Smith? How is that going to mesh? And so if they're fortunate enough or lucky enough, whatever you want to call it, good enough to have a season that surprises many, for me, Mike Tomlin, it makes him look that much better as a coach. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to pull what he's pulled in years past with his coaches with Mike Tomlin.
I disagree. I don't think he's going to change at all. I think there will be some point in the season.
So Mike Tomlin going to have to change here.
No. Mike Tomlin's very good at dealing with lots of different types of personalities. He's proven his ability to do that over the years. I don't think that we will get through an entire season of Aaron Rodgers with the Pittsburgh Steelers drama-free. I'm going to take the over on the drama with that. There's almost an impossibility of that happening. I mean, something doesn't start to go his way, people start blaming him for it. He's going to what? Take the blame?
And that's the problem. The players. You didn't want to come to OTAs. You ain't want to get the notice. If things start going bad, you saw what happened in Denver with Russ.
They weren't.
You got linemen coming at him during the game.
They weren't mandatory, remember?
And with the quarterback, it's always mandatory. With the quarterback, it's always mandatory.
Not if you're Aaron Rodgers, because if you don't work there, you don't have to be there.
Put it like this. Your best players. OTAs is for sure voluntary, but we would always say it's voluntary mandatory. Your best players, 100% got to be there. If you consider yourself a leader on the team, It don't matter the position. Quarterback, you're going to be there regardless. If it's a receiver, it's an O-line, whoever, defensive line, your best players got to be there from day one.
How many years did you play in the NFL, TJ?
12.
But he's not signed, Joey. How he going to be on the...
Not signed. He doesn't work there yet.
He don't work there
He don't work there yet.
You got to be there. Like, that's... When you're a leader of a team, whether you lead vocally or you lead by example, you got to be there.
Apparently, if you're Aaron Rodgers, you don't. Because he wasn't there. And while I very much understand he did not work there yet, he could have. Because they have already had this deal in place. What were they negotiating?
And that's why they got to do what Paul said. They got to start fast.
Yeah,
they start fast, everybody going to be like, yeah, we got Aaron. You start slow, now it's going to be 2 players.
Well, they have a delightful week 1 because they'll be playing the Jets, who are his former team, with Justin Fields, who's the former quarterback.
Is that New York or in Pittsburgh?
It's in New York.
In New York.
Oh, that's going to be interesting. Very.
Listen,
You think he's not going to be
NFL
motivated?
knows what they're doing.
Both sides going to be motivated.
With the schedule.
Aaron Rodgers going to be super motivated because of the way he felt like Aaron Glenn treated him, the New York Jets
Don't let
treated him.
Mason catch a touchdown in that game and they win. Do not
I just
let that happen.
if they start fast, then now you got the team, the players, the Cam Haywards that said some negative things at one point. You got them on board. If they start slow,
that's what I'm saying.
It's going to be a problem because Mason Rudolph has had success being a quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's not like he's a flunky. He's had success being a starter, winning record.
Yeah.
And so those first 4 games, the first month, September is very important for the Steelers. Very important.
They can get out to a good start. They can get out to, you know what happens when you start playing well.
The tough part of their season is on the back end.
The last 8 weeks, brutal.
That's what it was this past season.
The last 8 weeks is brutal.
And it fell apart.
And it got them,
They might only got 2 wins left in the last 8 weeks. Now that I look at it.
No, you're absolutely right. If they start fast, that will help to temper any kind of drama. Because if it goes slow out the gate, it's gonna heat up very quickly.
If it's a fast start without Aaron Rodgers being a catalyst to the fast start, is it still the same?
Yeah, I don't think that matters. Because in Pittsburgh, let me say this properly. It used to be about winning. The bottom line was just win. Where I feel like Pittsburgh has lost its way, and this is why this move is very confusing to me, is that the standard used to be Super Bowl. Now it feels like the standard is we just got to win a playoff game, however we can make that happen. And that's not what the Pittsburgh Steelers are. But that's why I feel like the bar has been lowered. Like, it's just like, okay, we have winning seasons, and if we get to the playoffs, cool. Yeah, we haven't won a playoff game in a while. Like, playoffs, it was a given we were going to the playoffs. A given. Like, that's not even a question. We'll be in the playoffs. How far in the playoffs are we going? Are we going to the AFC Championship game, or is it the Super Bowl?
I know.
That's not the bar anymore.
Yeah.
So this is very much giving, this is giving skinny jeans. Like, this is giving the hair dye doesn't match. Like, you're rich. Just put on a quarter zip and go to Wally's. You don't have to do all that.
But
and that's what the Steelers are giving right now.
If you're in that division, when you play the Pittsburgh Steelers, they still the Steelers. We used to play them, I promise you.
They're still the Steelers because their defense is
listen,
solid.
Our coaches used to walk into the meeting room, I promise you, like they was playing the game. Like, what y'all nervous for? Like, y'all not even playing. Like, we play any other team, they come in the meeting room on Wednesday, it's whatever. We play the Steelers, the energy is different.
Yeah.
They come, it's a 2 chin strap type of game. Like, they stay in that regular season game. You ain't say that last week, and you ain't gonna say it next week. And so the Steelers, they got this reputation across it, at least when I was playing, they respect it.
Yeah.
And you know it's not gonna be an easy game, right. But I don't know if it's the same from when I played to what they are now, because they not the same.
I think they're still respected, but it's just it doesn't feel like the standard is the same.
Them coaches are not walking into the meeting on Wednesday feeling like, hey, we got to play our best game of the season. They not walking in there. It's a different type of energy.
Well, Rodgers will team up with Mike Tomlin, who has been the Steelers coach since 2007. Tomlin has never had a losing season, but he has not won a playoff game since 2016 and overall has a losing record in the postseason of 8-11. So Mike Tomlin's a future Hall of Famer. across the league considered to be one of the best coaches in the league. But over the past couple years, there has been a little bit of some murmurs about how safe he is with Pittsburgh, as silly as that is. But is this a make or break season for Mike Tomlin, TJ?
I don't believe any season is make or break for Mike T. He's proven. Like, what he's done, you can't discredit, you can't take it away. If they don't play well, it's not on him. He's won with less. And so he's obviously won a Super Bowl. To me, he's one of the... To me, coaches they're more like psychologists. We're going to treat everybody the same, but everybody's different. And I think that's what he does a really good job at is he lets everybody be themselves, but if you start to cross the line, now it's a problem. And I think that's where, for me, with Mike Tomlin, if they have a losing season, Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback. They didn't have the weapons. They haven't had a quarterback since Big Ben, and that's their problem. They keep we make the playoffs. We don't have a losing season. Oh, you're going to draft late teens, early 20s.
Right.
You can never get that quarterback that can put you over the hump. Now, who's going to take the blame or the credit if things go good or bad? That's going to be that's what I'm interested in. Because if they start winning, Aaron Rodgers is not going to say anything, but I told y'all. This is me. This is what I do. I told y'all.
Oh, no, he's going to say something.
He going to say
something. But listen, if
it goes
win,
bad, then what?
Then it's going to be everybody else's fault.
But to me, Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season, so it can't be his fault.
If they have a losing season. No, if they have a losing season,
Rodgers gives them a scapegoat.
Rodgers is going to have to be the scapegoat. Take all the credit, A-Rod. We cool. Take all the credit.
Yeah.
Just make sure you take all the blame also.
No, if they have a losing season, it will have to be Rodgers' fault. It's never happened.
Right.
100%.
This is all on Rodgers. Everything. Win, it's him. Lose, it's on him. Now, Mike Tomlin, to what you just said, TJ, I had to think about it. It's Mike Tomlin. If you can fire a coach like Bill Belichick and all he's done, that don't make Mike Tomlin safe if they have a losing season.
If Belichick wasn't bulletproof, what made Tomlin?
Exactly, and this is the greatest coach ever. I know he didn't make playoffs in his last few. Belichick, Mike Tomlin continues to make them, and they haven't given him what he's needed. Hasn't had a quarterback since Ben.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. They just haven't found their quarterback of the future. But I truly believe that at this stage, he's been there long enough that the team can go in a different direction because the fans are tired of making it to the playoffs and losing game one. Being a wild card, losing game one. At some point, they're going to have to start a full rebuild in Pittsburgh. At some point, to get the foundation to where they can get back to the glory days. I just truly believe that.
I guess it feels like that's next year. Because this feels like a Band-Aid
it is.
For what they have going on this year.
It is.
And he's only going to play 1 year, Aaron Rodgers. Where I will say Aaron Rodgers is not taking a lot of risk is if they have a winning season but don't make the playoffs, so he doesn't mess up Mike Tomlin's unbelievable streak, he can then ride off into the sunset with some dignity. Because obviously he didn't want to leave the league with what happened with the Jets last year, or he wouldn't be playing this year. But if he did retire, it's not like anybody would care. Like, he's done what he needs to do in this league. His legacy is cemented. We're not going to remember or talk about what happened with the Jets. We may not talk about what happens with the Steelers unless it goes terribly. Yeah. If it's a complete catastrophe, which I don't think it'll be a complete catastrophe. I
think the only way we talk about Aaron Rodgers is if it goes great. Because I believe many are going to assume it's going to be a catastrophe.
No, okay, I don't think it's going to be a catastrophe. Like, I don't think it's going to be that bad.
I could see 6-11. Is that a catastrophe?
Yeah, that's.
I can see that.
That's bad.
In 5 years,
7-10, best.
We won't even in 5 years. We won't even remember he played for the Steelers. The only way we're going to remember the only way we remember he played for the Steelers if they get to the AFC Championship.
No,
if they do that,
if they win a playoff game with Aaron Rodgers, it won't matter. It will. Because they haven't in a long time, because he hasn't in a long time, because Mike Tomlin hasn't in a long time, and because this is essentially his last year playing football. Mm-hmm. So it will matter if they do that, even if they don't make it to the AFC Championship game. If he can go to Pittsburgh with the rut that they've been in and win a playoff game, that will matter. But I don't even think that he, as a player, needs to go to the playoffs or win a playoff game for this to be a soft landing for his exit from the NFL. it'll just be neutral. The Steelers will have done what they've been doing, and he will have sort of erased our memory of what happened with the Jets. Mm-hmm. But the risk is if it doesn't come out to that. If they do have a losing season for the first time in Mike Tomlin's career, if they did all this nonsense, and on top of that...
That would be great for the Steelers.
Why? If they have a losing season, they can get another quarterback.
Now they can get their quarterback. Right. Now they can draft in the top 10 and get their quarterback.
The other risk is that Justin Fields does a great job with the Jets and ends up being their franchise quarterback. I don't know that Russell Wilson having a good year with the Giants is going to matter so much because Russ is no longer in his prime. But if Justin Fields ends up being great and Aaron Rodgers ends up being terrible, it's going to be an exciting season. Coming up, the finals tip off in just a few hours. But will all the extra time off for the Thunder be a positive or negative? That's next on Speak. And don't forget, you can check us out every day on the Fox Sports channel on Sirius XM.
We're set to go.
Boy, do they know how to play. Haliburton for three! Three ball!
SGA playing like an MVP. Minnesota has no answers.
Haliburton unloads a three. Oh! That did not happen!
The Oklahoma City Thunder are going back to the NBA Finals.
For the first time in 25 years, Indiana is going to the NBA Finals.
Incredible.
This would have been crazy if he won it on that. We're just hours away from the NBA Finals tipping off, and Tyrese Haliburton can lead the Pacers to the franchise's first NBA title. Haliburton did not win the Eastern Conference Finals MVP, but he has remained the face of the Pacers' playoff run. You thought he won it on that shot, right?
I thought he won it on that shot.
Yeah, me too.
I did. I jumped up.
That's classic, though. They're going to show that forever, though. It's still classic.
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
But it would have been crazy if he won it on that. It's an inch away. What would a championship mean for Tyrese Haliburton, Paul?
Ooh. If Tyler, man, if TJ Joy, if Tyler, Tyrese, yeah, Haliburton win a championship.
Welcome to the show, Tyler.
Oh, yeah, I was just talking to my boy Tyler. But if Tyrese Haliburton wins a championship, this will be the biggest leap to superstardom we've ever seen in the NBA. Think about this. He didn't even make the All-Star game this year, and he potentially could win a championship, Finals MVP. We would say he's probably the best player on the team. Arguably, I mean,
I would say he is.
Right? He's definitely the face of the team, right? Mm-hmm. He's going to go in a year to where people call him overrated. You know, he can go from overrated to the best point guard in the league. Yeah. He could be if he win a championship, man, that's going to disrupt the league. Because it's like, when have I ever seen a point guard of his caliber not make the All-Star team, get his team to the finals, be called overrated, and if he win Finals MVP, don't let him win Finals MVP. If he win Finals MVP, this is going to be the biggest shove it up your new, you know what, to the rest of the players in the league.
Whoa.
You know what I'm saying? And he got probably the biggest chip on his shoulder.
For sure.
He got to have the biggest chip on his shoulder, and that's why I think he's going to be motivated. I think everybody is doubting him. When you look at the spread, they picked to get blown out tonight by double figures, and they've done nothing but exceed expectation. They're road here. They're going to say, well, they played the Knicks and they played the Cavaliers. They had a tough road, in my opinion. Nobody expected them to get here. His superstardom, we're going to have to start talking to some of these shoe companies. We need a Tyrese Haliburton shoe. We need we need a Ken doll of them. We need a new, we need new phone cases. Tyrese Haliburton, he will become a household name in the league, and we will be talking about him being the best point guard in the NBA. 100%, no doubt, no argument.
He immediately is the second best player in Indiana Pacers history behind Reggie Miller. And I'm right behind you, Reggie. I'm about to pass you in a few years. And Reggie played 18 seasons with the Pacers. When you think Indiana Pacers, you think Reggie Miller.
Yeah.
Very rarely do you see two young players traded and it works out for both teams. Sabonis goes to Sacramento. and Haliburton goes to Indiana, and it works out for both teams. To me, when your peers rank you as the most overrated player in the league, that means something. Like, you want the respect of your peers. Everybody else is like whatever.
Right.
But your peers, they basically felt like he couldn't play in the Olympics. He barely played. He was the last man off the bench. So they treated him like he was a flunky. And to be in this situation, like, I felt like in that New York series, he went from a star to a superstar. You do the choke sign that Reggie did so many years ago. He can catapult himself to a bona fide superstar and on his way to being the greatest player that organization has ever had play for him. And nobody on this side of North America think the Pacers have a chance to win. It's very few people picking the Pacers.
Right.
So you're a big underdog. Your peers voted you the most overrated. You didn't make the All-Star team. You barely played in the Olympics. And now you're about to win an NBA title. If he does that, it does so much, not only for him in the basketball world, but his confidence in himself. Like, man, it don't matter what anybody say. It don't matter what anybody do. If you believe in yourself and you go put the work in, this is what you can be. Because Steve Kerr didn't believe in him. His peers didn't believe in him. They voted me most overrated. The coaches in the NBA didn't believe. They didn't even put him on an All-Star team.
Yeah.
But I believe in me, and this is what I do.
Well, no one's going to call him overrated anymore, even if they don't win the finals.
That's dead.
That's dead. It would definitely cement him as one of the top 10 players in the league and the best point guard in the league for sure. And I agree, it would be a massive catapult from someone that, you know, NBA fans are aware of to a legitimate superstar in the league. And when you win a championship, you know, that changes how you walk around the world. And if you're able to do that whilst being massive underdogs, no one's picking you. No one picked them at any point, really.
No point.
I mean, they had a tough road to get to the finals.
No, they earned their way here. There's no question about that. They earned their way here. And then he didn't win Eastern Conference Finals MVP.
Man, they called, hey, look what else they said. And the MVP, he kind of stepped up. It was like...
I mean, he was doubted right there.
Right, that's what I'm saying. At every point, they've been doubted. At every point, he's been doubted. So, yeah, I mean, it would be... Because right now, we still don't really know where to put him in the league.
Man.
But if they end up winning the championship and he wins Finals MVP...
I mean, Paul, one of the greatest players ever playing in the NBA. Where would you, right now, without the title, where would you put him?
I mean, he's definitely an all-star. An all-star. You know, and like this
is... But like, where do you put him in the league?
Number-wise, top 20, top 25, top 15?
I think you got to start putting him in that top 15. I mean, listen, to me, he's top 10 because I would want him on my team. More so than players that, like, I would rather he be my point guard than Luka. You know what I'm saying? And Luka, he's going to get all the gaudy stats, 20, 30, 9 assists. But, like, his play is more infectious to me than Luka. He gets his team. He's making this, he's elevated this team full of guys that people can't even name the starting five. The casuals can't tell you the starting five of the Pacers.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like, people barely know Tyrese Haliburton.
Yeah.
But they know they're going to know him after this finals. And just his impact, his excitement, just the way he moves the ball, the way he gets people involved, it's Magic Johnson-ish to me. He's elevated his team, the Indiana Pacers, to levels that I never thought they can go as constructed. I thought they needed another superstar, but he's the superstar.
Well, also, yeah, to that point, like, if they end up winning the championship, it shifts the league a bit because you're talking about a team that truly had no certified superstars. One All-Star in Siakam, who I would still say most casuals are not fully aware of. Mm-hmm. So if you can put a team together like this and win a championship with the path that they have, because you really can't, you can maybe say something about the Bucks, whatever, but you took down the number one team in the East.
Yep.
And then you took down the Knicks, convincingly. Mm-hmm. So I just, this win for the Pacers, OKC's expected to win. They're huge favorites. They've got the league MVP. If the Pacers, end up winning this series against the league MVP and the number one team in the NBA, 18 games better than the second best team in the West, that's going to change. That's going to put a lot of pressure on GMs who are out here talking about we need 2 or 3 stars. Like, no, you kind of need to just put together a real team.
And the way they're playing in the playoffs with the physicality that they're allowing, I believe it eliminates the supers. Because if you can really get physical with the best players, now it gives you a chance. It gives you a chance to play defense, and you can kind of slow them down a little bit more than you would in the regular season. So now our picks are going to be valued, because I want to draft a guy 6'5", 6'7" to 6'8", that can play really good defense, that can match up, that can switch, that can knock down shots. Those are the guys you need, and you seeing that with what Oklahoma City has coming off the bench. You're seeing it with what Indiana Pacers have. Not many teams had that type of young guys that are big, physical, strong, and athletic.
I'm getting chills, like, just thinking about if Indiana, I'm picturing them winning it. Like, serious, like, I'm getting chills right now. Like, this will be the greatest NBA championship ever for one team. Like, the greatest ever, because we didn't, like, most teams in the NBA, the expectations, because before the season, you got 3 or 4, 5 teams. It's like, all right, you know every year one of these 5 teams is going to win. Mm-hmm. You put them in a box, it's going to be either Celtics, Cavs, Oklahoma, they was number 1 last year, Denver, Lakers, and whoever. This came out of nowhere. This will be the greatest championship in league history. Even back in the mid-'90s when the Houston team won with Akeem Olajuwon, they was like the 5th seed, but you still had Akeem Olajuwon.
Yeah.
He was still one of the best players, MVP, in the league.
Would you put it with that Pistons team?
With Chauncey Billups in 2004, they had
Chauncey,
more
Tayshaun
stars.
Prince, Rachel Hamilton,
Rasheed
Wallace.
Like, they're starting 5.
Yeah.
Ben Wallace.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, people don't, you don't know they start. And they had one of the greatest defenses ever.
Yeah.
Like, man, you got overrated players on Indiana. you got Pascal Siakam, who won Eastern Conference MVP. People don't like, who is that? Not knowing that Pascal Siakam won a championship as the second best player on the Toronto team. That's why if the Indiana win with the odds against them, this is almost like Buster Douglas beating Mike Tyson. Like, straight up. Man.
So this may be the biggest championship in any team sport from the biggest underdog from the start of the season to the end of the season.
Yeah. 100%.
Well, yeah, I mean, especially when you talk about the expectations with the lack of superstars. Not now, not talking about what we've watched from Tyrese Haliburton and the Pacers through this postseason. Before the season started.
Does the NBA like this? Do they like this?
I love
2
it.
small market teams.
I love it. This is high.
Do they like this?
I wonder who's the idiot before the season that lives in Indiana bet them to win the championship.
They're happy right now. Somebody did it.
They're sitting on that front couch like, yeah, I got a shot.
But looking at the Thunder side of the finals, OKC wrapped up the Western Conference Finals last Wednesday, giving them a full week off between series. That is 3 more days off than the Pacers ended up having ahead of tonight's Game 1. So, Paul, will the extended rest help or hurt the Thunder?
I think it'll help them and hurt them. And what I mean by that, helping them saying, like, when you go through a long season and a long playoffs, you're dealing with some type of injuries.
Yeah.
Whether it be like a sprained thumb, a thigh bruise, a jammed toe. Those extra days off help you to heal. And on the flip side, my experience having a lot of time off, I never liked having a lot of time off in between series because it's kind of like, you're so used to playing every other day or every 2 or 3 days. Now that you got an extended rest, it kind of throws off your rhythm. It kind of throws off your routine because your body has been getting used to playing in rhythm in 2 or 3 days, 1 day, back to back. And so it can potentially hurt their rhythm, just as a team and their chemistry at first. I think it throws it off. You could be a little cold because you forget like the intensity that you got to play at. You forget the speed. You're like, oh, dang, you're coming to it and you get hit. It's like, whoa, because I felt like that happened to the Knicks versus Indiana. And when the Knicks was off and playing Indiana, that first game, they just punched them in the mouth. Mm-hmm. And so I just think the advantage is going to go to Indiana game 1 because as like like me, when I started off on the road in playoff series, our whole emphasis is like, we got to get game one. We got to get game one, because then you try to shift the pressure immediately on them. And so I think Indiana's going to have a shot. So I think at the end of the day, it's going to hurt the Thunder.
To me, it helps them defensively. It's going to hurt them offensively. Offensively, on that side of the ball, it's more of a rhythm side of the ball. Defensively is just effort. And you want that rest. And the Thunder are a defensive team. And so I just want to see how Neesmith and Nembhard, how they play SGA. Are they going to be allowed to be aggressive? Because Indiana's had a lot of time off as well. It's not as if...
Pacers have had 5 days off. OKC have had 8 days off.
It's not as if they just played on Monday. They last played their game on Saturday. So that's a lot of time off as well. To me, it boils down to what Paul said. If you hurting, you want the days off. You go to Game 7 in New York, win this. You want that extra rest because you want to get to feeling close to 100% as you can. But if you don't have any real injuries, it's going to hurt you because now you start to get anxious. You working out, but you're not really working at the speed and the pace you need to play at for a game. And so defensively, though, the way Oklahoma City play, the guys that they play, that's just effort. Offensively, SGA, Chet Holmgren, Jalen Williams, does it take them out of their rhythm? Those three guys, because those are the three main scorers for OKC.
Well, we don't have to worry about age in this particular finals. The oldest player is 38 for the Pacers, as James Johnson, and Alex Caruso is 31. So these are two very young
Alex
teams.
Caruso is the oldest player for Oklahoma City?
Yeah, 31.
Wow, and he young.
Yeah. So this is a very young finals. So as far as the recovery goes, obviously they at least have that on their side. But you guys are athletes. You like your routines. You like your rhythms. You like, as soon as that starts to throw it off, it's the cycle's different, and you need to kind of feel that.
Don't be off early.
Yep.
I knew it.
And you're going to come with intensity. It's going to be a very intense building. So I'm with you. I think I would agree that it favors the Pacers in that way, not because of them being old, but it's so much a rhythm, and you can kind of over-prepare sometimes when you have too much time. It starts to get in your head. But we will see what happens tonight. Coming up, the Steelers reportedly have their quarterback. But how excited should the fans really be with the signing? That's next on Speak. As expected, Aaron Rodgers is reportedly signing with the Steelers after missing the last 2 weeks of OTAs. Well, he technically didn't miss them because he didn't work there. While there's a lot of excitement in Pittsburgh about having an MVP caliber quarterback, Rodgers' last 2 years in New York fell well short of expectations. So, TJ, how excited should Steelers fans be by Rodgers signing?
I know some Steelers fans.
I do too.
And them dudes are somewhat excited. They are, and I believe they should be excited. He's the best quarterback available. He's the best quarterback on that roster. But then when you look across the NFL and you see everybody else quarterback, at that point, it's not as exciting. Now, this is not the Aaron Rodgers of 10 years ago. This is the Aaron Rodgers that we've seen recently. When I see Aaron Rodgers throw the ball, I'm like, he good. He gonna do damage. Every week, last week during the fall, I'm like, this is going to be the week. Mm-hmm. Then the next week, this is going to be the week. And then I realized that week wasn't coming. I don't know what happened. I still believe Aaron Rodgers can play. Now,
Key swears the last 5 weeks of the year he got it together. Because we're playing the 3 highlights that we have.
But the Jets weren't winning.
Well, yeah.
And so
yes.
That's the problem. You got to play well. But you also got to win. You got to play so well that if you lose, they
can't
say,
blame you.
It wasn't him. And so you're a little older. You got a worse offensive line than what you had last year. And so you're not mobile like you used to be. I'd be excited if I'm a Steelers fan, but when you really look at it, should you really be excited? Mason Rudolph has started 13 games for the Steelers in the regular season. Went 8-4. 8-4-1. It's not bad. That's not bad. And so they feel like Aaron Rodgers can do better. Mm-hmm. Good luck.
Yeah, they got to be excited. They had they had no hope. At least Rodgers gives you hope. You know, I don't know, at this point, you know, it's the name. It really is. Because, like, when you think Aaron Rodgers, you always thinking he still got what he had in Green Bay. But it gives him hope. That's all you ever want as a fan, to have hope. Just like the Lakers got hope with LeBron, but we know they're not going nowhere every year. They got hope, though. It gives them hope. The same with Rodgers. You know, everybody every year says, hey, listen, we make it to the playoffs, anything can happen. Anything can happen. 40-year-olds like Rodgers.
But LeBron balling. LeBron is balling.
Yeah, LeBron is all NBA getting in the postseason.
But we all know they first-round exits like the last 4 years.
Rodgers hasn't been to the playoffs since 2020.
Yeah, he ain't been to the playoffs. He's been hurt, though, Joy. He had an Achilles. You got to give him this. Look, he tore his Achilles. He came back the first year. Now, this is the second year removed from Achilles. He should be better, I believe. A second year, think about it. At that age, this is your second year removed from an Achilles. I truly believe he will be better. So fans should get excited for this 1 year until they find a future quarterback.
They have hope. They have hope.
Yeah,
I would agree with that.
It does.
Excited. I mean, I'll tell you why, as a suspended Steelers fan, why I'm not excited.
Suspended?
Well, you know, I got the Jets, you know, so this is going to mess things up.
So you're in the principal office right now with the Steelers?
I don't know how happy Steelers fans are with me. Says, I don't know, whatever. I was born and raised there. I've been watching this team my entire life. I just feel like the bar is lower than it should be for the Steelers. Like, the Steelers that I know, this is not serious. The Steelers that you know, this isn't serious. You played against them for many years. You talked about it when we talked about this earlier. The Steelers organization is, to me, one of the premier organizations in all of sports. They should be competing for championships.
Used to.
Should. That's why I keep saying should.
Yeah.
Because they used to be competing. Like, that's the Steelers I grew up with. That's the Steelers I'm familiar with. There's a standard. There's an expectation every year. We will be competing late into the postseason. We are a Super Bowl caliber team every single year. There's a standard. This feels like a Band-Aid, and it feels like an unnecessary one, because what confuses me about this move is why we're excited about the Jets this year, right? Like, why are we excited about the Jets? Because they have a young, athletic quarterback that was with the Steelers last year. Like, the Jets have their future. The Steelers do not. But Justin Fields was in the building. And now you have a guy who's 41, who's going to be 42 mid-season, which is old, like in football terms. Like, am I crazy? 42 years old is old. No?
It's not that he's old. It's that his last 2 seasons playing with the Jets in his last year in Green Bay weren't particularly impressive. That's the problem, because we've seen older players play well.
Yeah.
He hasn't played well. And when you bring up Justin Fields, and he was playing well when he got benched. It wasn't as if he wasn't playing well. He was playing well. I don't want to put, he's old, because we've seen guys win Super Bowls older than what Aaron Rodgers is right now at the quarterback position. He just hasn't played well. He didn't play well his last year in Green Bay. Obviously, he got hurt early on his first year in New York. And then he didn't play well last year.
You're talking about Tom Brady?
Yeah.
So, yes, Tom Brady is an absolute outlier in every sense of the word. And while people were flipping out, you know, losing their minds a week ago about me talking about Aaron Rodgers not being at OTAs, because it didn't work there yet, is my point. Tom Brady would have been there. You are talking about quarterbacks having to be in the building. Like, it doesn't matter if it's mandatory or not.
It's important. I believe.
You've not, and it's not a team you've spent your entire career with. You're new here. So when I talk about Steelers fans being excited, what are you excited about? You're excited about a guy who only shows up when it's mandatory.
Joy,
who
it's
only
like
does
this.
the bare minimum.
It's like during timeouts, right? Like, you in a big game, the receiver may be talking trash to the DB or a D lineman. That's what I did. Or you may get an O lineman saying something to the D lineman, right? Mm-hmm. So the quarterback, like, if you're not really paying attention, because the quarterback is gone to the sideline and talk to the coach, and he's going to come back to the huddle. He gonna grab you by your face mask and be like, hey, is Aaron Rodgers gonna do that? Have you even built up the equity to do that? Because you get some quarterbacks, think, hey, and you be like, my bad, yeah, what's up? And it does not offend you at all.
Anybody ever grab your face mask that you started to swing on?
They'll just grab me by like my shoulder pad and stuff like that.
Calm down, TJ.
But it's like...
Can he grab DK yet like that?
I don't know.
Well, should DK be excited about this?
If I'm DK Metcalf, yeah, he should feel excitement. Now, I would like to talk with DK and say, during these OTAs, the last 2 weeks OTAs, how was your chemistry? How'd you feel with Mason Rudolph throwing you the ball? Did you feel like, y'all had a rapport? But Aaron Rodgers can still throw the football. That's one. He gonna still be able to throw the football with great accuracy, great touch, great timing, great anticipation. He can do that. And so if the offensive line can hold up, if I'm DK Metcalf, I'm doing jumping jacks. I'm excited about Aaron Rodgers being my quarterback because of what I've seen him do. And I'm hoping, me being DK, I'm gonna make him better.
A lot of hopes and shoulds and maybes.
Got to build up that equity, though, because I'm telling you, during them timeouts, sometimes them quarterbacks, they'll call your name, and if you don't come because you arguing, hey. And if you ain't got that equity built up, it's going to be a problem. Like, bro, what you doing? Like, nah.
It's too much respect for Rodgers to give him that bro.
He ain't going to do that.
But he ain't going to do that.
You're not going to do that to somebody that you feel like you don't have a relationship with.
Yeah.
Because it's going to end bad.
Yeah.
And that you build that relationship now.
Yeah. Well, I guess those 2 weeks didn't matter. Coming up, Pascal Siakam won Eastern Conference Finals MVP, but will his impact for the Pacers in the finals be greater than Thunder wingman Jalen Williams? We'll answer that next on Speak. Paul Pierce is going to break down which team has the advantage in several categories ahead of tonight's Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Take it away, Truth.
All right, check it out. I'm excited about this NBA Finals, and the Pacers and Thunder are a lot closer than y'all think. I'm telling you, do not sleep on the Pacers. So now, when I break it down, starting with the offense, who has the advantage, Pacers or Thunder? I'm going to give it to the Pacers. Right there, because they're unpredictable. They move the ball well, and on any given night, different players will be their best player. Whereas the Thunder, I know SGA is coming. I know Jalen Williams is gonna be the guy. On the Pacers side, I don't know who's gonna be the best guy night in and night out. That's what makes them tough to guard, so I'm giving the advantage to the Pacers. Moving on to defense. Now, we all know that the Thunder have been the #1 defense all year. Goes to them. They got two all defensive players, J-Dub, Lou Dort. Let's not forget about what SGA does in that department. Just all around, Caruso, Chet. This is one of the great defensive teams in the history of the game, guys. Advantage, Oklahoma City Thunder. Now let's move on to Superstar. Oh, man, this is a no-brainer. Superstar? It goes to the MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and the OKC Thunder. They have the advantage there. A guy who they can depend on night in and night out to get it done. That's what the true definition of a superstar is. He takes over in big moments. He's the MVP of the Western Conference. He's the MVP of the league, and he won the scoring title. Come on, man. It don't get no better than that. Now let's move on to the bench. Man, this was a tough one for me. But I gotta go with the Pacers on this one. And I know OKC, they got a deep bench too, obviously led by Alex Caruso. You got Wiggins, you got Wallace. Yeah, I love those guys too, but man, this bench has been phenomenal for the Pacers. TJ McConnell coming off. You got Mathurin. You got these guys, man. Obi Toppin. They go 11 deep. This team is deep. That's why they're in the NBA Finals, so I give the advantage to the Pacers. Now, let's talk about head coaching. Man, I gotta go with the coach that's already won a title. The great Rick Carlisle, he's won a title with the Dallas Mavericks. Great game planning. When I look at top to bottom, what he did to dismantle the Cavs, what he did to the Knicks. plays to the strength of his stars. I mean, this is two different styles. He won with Dallas in one style, more of a half-court team. Then he comes to Indiana and says, hey, I got Tyrese Haliburton. We're going to speed it up. We're going to get up and down the court. We're going to make a balanced attack. Man, Rick Carlisle's, his defensive schemes, his offensive schemes have been brilliant this postseason. So when I look at from top to bottom in these 5 categories, man, the Pacers got the advantage. I think I got the Pacers in 7, y'all. Man.
It's a good breakdown, Paul.
I'm just saying.
TJ, do you agree?
I actually would agree. I might push the bench. I might say that's a push. Offensively, it may be a push. But I'm for sure going with Rick Carlisle, the head coach.
Yeah.
Superstar, SG has proven. Defense, the Thunder. But you can't argue with the Pacers having a better offense than the bench. The bench, for me, if I did have to pick a side, I would say Pacers. Offense may be a push.
That's what I'm saying. People think it's going to be a landslide OKC, but I'm telling you, it's a lot closer than what you think. And when I break it down in these categories like this, advantage Pacers.
Hey, and does the defense matter if the Pacers can play at the pace they want to play at? Now, does the defense really matter if we getting up and down the court?
See, that's going to be the key. The Pacers have to play fast. You can't get into a situation to where you're constantly playing in a half-court game, because that's when OKC is at their best in the half-court defense, one of the all-time great defenses that we're witnessing currently. So if they can get out there and create turnovers, the Pacers, get the ball ahead of the defense and get easy buckets, it could be a long night for the OKC Thunder.
I hope it's a long series. That is what I'm hoping for. Coming up, Paul Pierce knows the truth about what it takes to win a title. We'll ask our finals MVP what a star player's mindset should be heading into the finals. Don't want to miss that. Next on Speed. Before we jump more into the finals, he couldn't be here today, but he's got a special message about our finals MVP, Paul Pierce. Check it out.
If I'm Paul and I'm looking back on my set of accomplishments, I'm gonna let you know that I'm the truth. And here's why.
Pierce for 3. That's good. What a move from Pierce. Puts a 3 in.
I have dreams of one day putting my names up in the rafters, but my ultimate goal is to win the championship.
When you go back and you look at footage of him doing the things that he was able to do, running the floor, blocking shot, knocking down threes, penetrating, dishing, going to the cup, dunking, you look at it, you go, damn, he was good. Like, he was really good.
It's just like, times where you want to give up and times where you want to move on.
For the Celtics, Paul was the ultimate clutch player.
It's just so much satisfaction in just staying and sticking with it and seeing things turn around after all the things you've been through. I mean, that's gratification for me.
And after a 22-year absence, the Boston Celtics are NBA champions once again. The greatest single-season turnaround in NBA history is complete.
Even though he got my Lakers, it feels good to see a friend win a championship. To be able to see one of my childhood friends get the MVP of the finals, but also win his first ring, watching it back, I'm happy for him.
I know we didn't have a lot of great years, but you guys right here, you guys stuck with me. And now we bring home champion 17. Yeah!
I see why he's the truth. I see why they hate on him.
I can't even put into words how to describe how I'm feeling right now.
When you look back at his career, he's one of the best to ever do it.
This is a dream come true, and I'm gonna cherish this forever.
Ooh, that gave me chills right there. Ooh, I'm ready to go hoop, Joy. I'm ready to go back on the court. I'm coming out of retirement.
Did listening to Key talk about you like that? Give you the Luka lip?
Man,
you sighed when we showed you talking after in the press conference. Mm-hmm. Was that like when you finally took a deep breath, like, damn, it happened?
Man, when I was on that part, I just remember it, because when you get to that moment, you just start thinking about the early mornings, the late nights, and what you put so much of your life into. It took away from so many other things in my life, just being human, putting it into the game of basketball to accomplish that.
Yeah.
Missing Christmases and birthdays and holidays and family functions and all the things that that make you normal. And it just puts everything in perspective when you sit on that podium and you finally accomplish it, and it just starts running back in your mind like, man, this is what I did all that for. This is what the sacrifice was all about.
Yeah, it's crazy to watch back. So what kind of mindset should the players have heading into the finals?
Man, it's going to be a nervousness. I mean, think about it. You've dreamed your whole life. You've been putting in the sweat, blood, sweat, and tears, and now here's the moment. I was nervous. I'm not going to lie. I was super nervous. In the locker room, I'm just kind of envisioning the game, but at the same time, I'm excited. I'm over here like, man, we here, y'all. You know, this is opportunity. This is opportunity. It is right here. The mindset is like, hey, I'm going to live in the moment. I'm not going to take this for granted. I'm going to be nervous, but when I step out on that court, when I look up and I see the crowd and I hear the introductions and I see that it's this close, what I've been working my whole life for, that nervousness is gone now. It's just time to hoop. Listen, I've been playing this game since I was a little kid. This is what I play for.
Does it feel different, like the playoff atmosphere, the finals atmosphere, when you walk out there, like you can tell this is a different series?
It's so different, Joy. Let me tell you, the production of it. It's like when we had ours, they had the big replica trophy right there. We ran out the tunnel. They had more lights. You see more media members in there. And it's just, it can be overwhelming, you know, for a young player. Like before the game, after the game, you just pulling up into the arena, you're going to see thousands outside. You're going to see vendors everywhere. You're going to probably see posters of you on the street lights already. It's like, it can be overwhelming. And it's like, man, but then you run out there. I remember just running out the tunnel. I felt like Gladiator. You know, y'all watched that movie when he ran out there and he picked up the dirt. I felt like Gladiator running out there like, it's time to go to war. But
like, Caruso's the only player in Oklahoma City to win a championship. It was in a bubble.
Yeah.
A little different environment and atmosphere.
It's different, though, now.
Siakam has won it with Toronto.
The Raptors, yep.
Now, you said earlier, Rick Carlisle is the only coach. Do you think...
And Thomas Bryant with the Nuggets.
Do you think that experience from the coach on the coaching staff plays a part in, guys, this is what it's going to be. Commercials may be a longer. The warm-up may be a little longer. Like, will that experience play a part in it from the coaching staff?
I truly believe it will, because he can tell you what to expect. You know, that whole week before practice, he can tell you what to expect from his experience. He's going to be like, look, this is what's going to happen, guys. And it gets in your mind now. So now when you start seeing the production, when you start seeing the extra media attention or what we got to do to prepare, I got a coach that's been there and done that. You know, and you can start implanting that into your head, like, okay, coach said this, you know, this is what's going to happen. So that's a slight advantage, somewhat, when you have that type of experience, when you have that coach and you have that player in the locker room. Siakam is like, hey, guys, this is how we got to be. You know, we got to be tight-knit. It's going to be all little things. He can give you little nuggets to where you can hold on to them and be like, all right, they warned us about this. So now, mentally, you can be ready.
It's interesting because they do have Caruso and they have Thomas Bryant and Siakam, but overall, these are such young teams.
Yeah.
And this is the furthest that both of these organizations have gone as a core, like through, obviously the Pacers were in the Eastern Conference Finals last year, but they got swept. So this is really like the biggest stage for both of them at the same time.
Yeah, the magnitude of it. And I thought about what I was just telling about Siakam. Caruso can't say that in the locker room. Because
it was the bubble.
Because it was the bubble, because no crowd, limited media attention. You know, I don't know what does he tell them? You know, but the magnitude of this for both franchises to be on the verge of their first championship, they understand you could be immortalized. When you go back to OKC after winning the championship, dinner's free every time you go. Indiana, you want to tell you stand. Let me tell you, after we won the championship, I remember going to eat in Boston. I spent the summer in Vegas, hang out. You know, I came back and I remember I went to eat, my family, everything. I walked into the restaurant. You know, I'm about to get the whole restaurant stood up and gave like a standing ovation. Man, I'm telling you, I was getting free meal. I looked up like, whoa, I got a standing ovation in the restaurant. Like,
you're the Finals MVP too.
But it was just like, man,
it was different.
It was different.
It just means so much to the fans in the city. Like when you give people a memory like that, it's so much a part of like your childhood. It's a part of your like family relationships, and like you tell stories like, oh, remember we were at the game, and like it brings people together in a city in a way that is so unique. So it's really.
I got one other quick story. All right, so after we won, we in the locker room. It's me, Kevin, and the guys. You know, all the champagne gone now. The whole thing. So we walk into the trainer's room, was connected to the locker room. So it's me, KG, the trainer, security, and there's one other guy. So we just exhausted, like, man, we did it, dog. We talking like this, and there was another guy in there. So after about like 10, 15 minutes, everything is winding. It's like 3, 4 in the morning, by the way. We ain't left the arena yet. So I was like, man, I'm thinking this is KG boy. Like, say KG right here, it's a guy in there. He drinking a beer. So I'm like, man, KG, this is your boy. He was like, no, I thought it was your boy. Right? and then they was like, who was you? He was like, man, I'm just a fan. He got to the locker room. He got to the back. We was like,
security is suspect.
We was like, hey, you got to get him. He was just sitting there right here with KG and Paul.
He had the night of his life.
Yeah.
Hey, he gonna watch this and then like, I told y'all I was in the locker room.
He was just sitting there chilling, like drinking a beer. We was like, this your man? He was like, no, I thought it was your man. He was like, who was you?
Amazing.
Man, I'm just a fan.
Crazy. Wow. Crazy. You remember his name?
I don't remember his name, but I know security got him like, hey, you got to get out of here.
You so right. He's somewhere he gonna get this clip. Like, I told y'all
I was back there hanging with him.
Oh, man.
That's crazy. Coming up, the Steelers have their quarterback now, so reportedly, of course. So how many games will Pittsburgh win? We'll talk about that next on Speed.
Yeah, that was crazy.
It's time for us to hit some of the biggest sports stories and tell you if we think it's fair or foul. We'll start with the big news of the day. Aaron Rodgers reportedly informed the Steelers that he will fly to Pittsburgh tomorrow to officially sign with the team. Odds makers project the Steelers' win total this season at 8.5 games. So TJ, fair or foul for the Rodgers Steelers, 8.5?
That is fair. I believe this is going to be the first time that Mike Tomlin has experienced this. I believe the Steelers will go 7-11. So very fair. They won't even win 8 games.
That's fair. I'm looking at the schedule, and I got them around 9 wins. This is a great mark because I said 8 or 9 wins before I saw this. So I think it's fair. I think they get 9 though, and continue Tomlin.
I'm so sorry. I'm really an idiot. I said 7-11 like they play 18 games. They'll be 7-10.
It's okay.
Sorry, I just realized.
It's okay, guys. He knows how many games are in the NFL. It's okay. You're not an idiot. Don't talk about yourself that way. I'm going to give them 8 games. So I do think this is going to be the year that they do not have a winning season. And so I'm going to go foul. But I guess fair or foul, because the number is fair. But I'm going to take the under. So we're going to go over under right now. Let's move on to hoops. Draymond Green and the Warriors have won 4 of their 6 finals appearances, but Dre says that losing in the finals is so heartbreaking that he'd rather lose in the first round.
Man.
So, Paul, is it fair to say losing in the first round is better than losing in the finals?
Absolutely, because I don't even remember who we lost to in the first round, but I'll never forget losing in the finals. I won one finals, I lost one in the most heartbreaking way, and that's never going to
So you would rather have just won one and never go back to the finals?
Because I don't never want to think about losing this finals. It's in my head for my life.
I already know you agree.
I was at that game, too, when they lost the finals. I was at the last game.
Game 7, Joy, that's the most heartbreaking one.
I don't understand this about athletes. I'm on the total opposite side of this.
Because it's painful.
Joy.
So you never want to feel anything?
That is more than fair. Like,
fair.
Yeah, like,
what do you mean? You've never had the opportunity. So your whole career, you would rather have only ever had first round exits than to go to the finals and win.
If you're not going to win, why go?
So you had the opportunity to go. We talk bad about athletes all the time that never went to a Super Bowl.
How would you feel, Joy, if you was in a race and you came in last, or you was in a race about to win and failed at the finish line and somebody went past you?
And you would have won if you didn't fall.
I'd be mad I fell, but at least I was there. Like, at least I had the opportunity to.
But you'll think about that, like, how did I fall?
Exactly. You're going to think about
if you take last place, it was like, man.
Not qualifying for the 100-meter finals at all.
No, if I take last in the 100-meter finals, I'd rather not qualify than take last place.
If you're not first or last. I don't know. That's crazy. Staying in the NBA, Shaq knows a lot about making money. And the 4-time NBA champion says that if he were playing today, he'd rather have $75 million in Oklahoma City than $75 here in Los Angeles. Fair or foul, DJ?
Ooh.
Oh. That's foul. I'm trying to Oklahoma City and Los Angeles?
Yeah, I think he's talking about the taxes.
Man, listen. I'm living in LA.
Like, I've been paying these taxes a long
I've been
time.
my whole life. So I'm not, and I've been in Oklahoma City. I lived there before, very briefly. But out here, like especially Shaq, you got so much money, you're not gonna miss the tax money anyway.
That's foul, Diesel. I don't wanna be in Oklahoma City driving down the highway smelling cow manure, all that. No, and I can find ways, to up my brand in a big city like Los Angeles to where I can make up for it on the back end.
That's
so
true.
I'm good.
Yeah, listen, the taxes are serious out here. They are a real thing. But I am living in Los Angeles over Oklahoma City.
Cow manure or
No
good
disrespect, but yeah, it's gonna be LA for me. Coming up, it's been 17 years since Paul's wheelchair game. We will reminisce about this iconic moment next on Speak.
You have to fight through a lot of pain.
A lot of pain.
His skip.
Feels like this was just yesterday.
And we have an injured Celtic player on the floor.
Here we go.
Boy, he is in a world of pain.
Paul Pierce never is hurt.
Right at this moment, I thought he actually tore his knee up. Then they carried him. He playing to the camera with the little face, like, the grimacing. Oh my God, Paul, you gotta stop.
This is the sight that the Celtic fans want to see. And hear the ovation.
And then he come bouncing out the damn locker room. Made for Hollywood, here from Los Angeles.
Rondo to Pierce. Pierce for three. Bang!
He's so full of it.
Rondo back to Pierce. Another three. Puts it in.
I still to this day think he had to go use the bathroom. That's what I think.
Oh, no. Come on, Key, don't do me like
Paul's
that.
infamous wheelchair incident was 17 years ago today in Game 1 of the NBA Finals. He had 22 points in that game, and the Celtics ended up winning that game in the series against TJ's Lakers. TJ, what did you think about Paul's return from the wheelchair?
I'm like, he hurt, we winning, game over. He ain't coming. Then I really thought he was hurt though. Like
Everybody did.
I really, when they carried him off,
carrying his legs.
You don't never want to see anybody get hurt. Right. You're like, God, I hope it ain't that bad. Then when they start carrying him, then they show the wheelchair. You like, he really hurt. So then when he came back,
here he goes.
Uh-oh, here we go. Let's go. Come on, I'm coming right in. Let's get it, y'all. Let's get it. I'm back.
And the look on his face though is like a serious look. Like, I'm good now. I'm good.
Right back to me, Rondo. Hold that, Mamba. Yeah, here we go. Let's go. Look.
It's the jog back and the look on. It's the look on the face, though.
It's the jog back with the skip for me. Like, is this the bouncing? Like, once everybody starts cheering, here he goes.
No, listen. When I was on the ground, the trainer was like, "Let's not put on the weight on him. Let's carry him." And
what did you think it was?
No, it was a strained meniscus. That's what I got diagnosed. I had a meniscus strain. You can still play on meniscus. You know that, T.
Yeah, it's just pain tolerance at that point.
Yeah, for real. Nobody ever talks about that, but it was definitely a strained meniscus, and it was hurting.
You got the paperwork on that?
Maybe we gotta keep records back there like that, Joe.
Yeah.
No digital records. It was all paperwork.
Well, the rest is history. Before we go, who is winning Game 1 tonight in Oklahoma City?
Man, I'm telling you, I'm going with the underdog. I feel like the Indiana Pacers have been a team of destiny all year long, and Tyrese Haliburton underrated. Nobody expected Indiana to be here.
You're going Pacers in 7, right?
I'm going Pacers in 7. I think they steal Game 1. I mean, I think they're going to have a better understanding of the moment. They know nobody's rooting for them, and I really think they're going to come out here and show these young boys who's the boss.
It's 10-point underdogs.
After just watching the entirety of the playoff, it's hard for me to see OKC losing. Like, they just been so dominant. To get through that 7-game series against Denver and Jokic, you beat a champion. You beat Minnesota rather handily. If Indiana can play, if they can play really fast and play with some pace, that gives them a chance. But OKC was the best defense in the league by a mile. One of the best defenses the NBA has seen in a long time. And so it's hard for me to envision them losing. So I'm taking OKC.
I am also taking OKC. I'm taking OKC in 7. I'm partly hoping that we get a 7-game series because I just want to see a tough comparison.
I don't even think it'll go 7 games. I think they'll win in 6.
Man.
I hope you're wrong. But I do think that OKC will end up winning this series. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens. It starts tonight, and that is it for us. We will see you back here tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern. Enjoy the game tonight.